Hi everybody, I'm here today at the Bigger Plants Company in the Wirral, and guess what? They specialise in big plants, and I don't think I can really emphasise that point enough. These are big plants. This is a nursery that imports plants from Italy mainly, and they import big stuff. You won't find trees this big in a normal garden centre. These are huge. It's a bit of a, to be honest, it's a nursery for the rich and famous. They do a lot of footballers' gardens. They do high-end restaurants, big events, companies and things like that. So, you know, we're talking big plants, big money. Anyway, let's go and have a look, see what they've got. Now, the trouble I'm going to have in this video is actually being able to fit the plants in. I don't know if I can stand far back enough for some of these. They are absolutely enormous. Now, these really tall plants here, this row of them, these are left over from the Dutch wedding, a Dutch royal wedding. So that's the kind of clientele we're dealing with here. And because most things are from Italy, there's lots of formal pruning that's been involved. So lots of cloud-shaped things. There's also some ball-shaped trees as well. What we'll do is we'll have a wander around and pick out some of the specialist things. They do a lot of things for weddings as well. That's what these are. Need to grow a little bit more, but they'll be ready for a wedding venue very soon. Now, these box balls, these are huge. There's kind of these ones that you're probably thinking that's a normal size box ball. That's a massive box ball, and then next to it is an enormous one. And this is £395 plus VAT, and it's a blight resistant or blight type of box that doesn't suffer from box blight. So that's really good news. But honestly, I think that's probably the biggest ball of box I've ever seen, and there's tens of them. It's the norm here. So look what we've got there, a massive Trachycarpus fortunei. That's obviously caught my attention. Oh, here are some of the well, they're cloud pruned, and these ones are more spherical, which is really cool. They prune them here. There's a bee, a giant bee. But this large Trachycarpus, again, I'm going to struggle to get anywhere near it, but I'm stood underneath it now. Big long trunk, and I think the label's actually gone, but that is an absolutely massive plant. So as I mentioned, a lot of these plants, or virtually all of them actually, come from Italy, and they have an annual buying trip where they go over in the autumn, and then in the spring the trucks upon trucks of plants arrive, and including this very nice palm tree. Let me flip the camera around. This is a Trifinax campestre. I think I'm saying that right. And yeah, let me try and estimate how tall this is. This must be more than 2 meters above the soil. So it's probably 3 meters including the pot there. It's absolutely massive. And this is a very spiky plant. It has very, you won't want to get impaled on that. And I did actually hear a story that someone did get hurt. It went right through their arm. So got to be careful with these things, as I actually currently know, because I have a bit of yucca within my finger right there. So I probably didn't want to see that. But you do have to be careful when dealing with exotic plants, because a lot of them are very spiky. A lovely couple of waggies here. One there, and there's one on the other side as well. In here, we've got quite a lot of absolutely massive tree ferns. Now, the bigger plant company used to do a lot more tree ferns. In fact, this whole polytunnel was full of them. There's now lots of other plants as well. But what they found is, you know, they want to be different. They want to do different things here. So doing, you know, because lots more people are doing tree ferns now, they're kind of leaving people to do that. But having said that, they still do have some massive specimens here. And look at this one. Look at the girth on this trunk. So I'm going to place my hand next to it, give you an idea. That is absolutely huge. Look at all these fronds unfurling. That is incredible. I'd love to see a time lapse of some of these fronds unfurling over maybe a few days. Probably won't stand around to do that though, but in a couple of days it will look like that. So such a tactile plant. Just want to touch them very gently, of course. So we've got a whole avenue of tree ferns, and of course people will be interested in the price. So this one, this is the really thick trunked one. It's six foot of trunk, and it's £525. Now that actually hasn't got a new flush coming just yet, but I'm sure it will have very soon. So this nursery is open to the public. As I mentioned, it's in the Wirral near Liverpool, and you can just arrive, but it's best to make an appointment, come and visit. You can bring your helicopter if you like. They've got a field where you can land that, and believe it or not, people actually do that. They come 7 days a week. They come on a Sunday at 6 o'clock if they want, land their helicopter and order some plants to be delivered. The bigger plant company will come and install the plants as well. Now we've got 3 absolutely beautiful jubaeas here, and apparently there was 5, but two sold in the last few weeks. These are absolutely lovely, and also in pristine condition. That is smashing. Look at the central sphere on that. Huge trunk. Right, let's have a look at the price of these. They are £875. Remember, there's VAT to add to all of these. But what an investment. And I'm absolutely amazed to see how healthy everything looks. There's 1 or 2 plants that, you know, need a bit of TLC, and that is being provided here to bring things back to perfect health. But to grow these things in pots for so long is absolutely incredible to me. Got flowering cordylines. Let's see how much these are. 165, and that is probably 8 foot as it stands, so 6.5 foot, above soil level. More things for weddings and formal gardens there. These agaves, again, absolutely huge. Something you do not see very often at all. Can't see prices for those, unfortunately, but if you get in touch, then they'll be very happy to talk you through what's available, the prices, the delivery options, the install options as well, because obviously a lot of these are too big to plant by hand. This Fatsia japonica, whoops, is £155. And sure, you can buy, you know, a tiny version of that for £10 or £15 and wait 10 or 15 years for it to look like that. Or if you've got the money, of course, you can get instant impact here. This really is a high-end garden centre. There's, you know, it's a bit different. It's a bit different to the B&M Bargains tours that I've been doing recently. In fact, you probably couldn't get further from that. Coming out the other end of the polytunnel, we've got some smashing Formiums. Look at all of those. And these are the small ones, believe it or not. There's a huge one down there at the end I can see. They do a lot of screening plants as well. So a lot of what they do, or a lot of people phone up and say, look, you know, I'm in a new build. I'm being overlooked by my neighbours. What have you got? And of course they've got things ready to go here. So that is a big part of the business. There's another massive Formium there. Very nice indeed. Have another walk down these ferns. Oh, and there's some huge bananas as well. I think these will be musa basjoo. Growing nicely, popping like mad. Wonder what we've got over there. Got some more agaves, I believe. Some pups that have probably come off of the larger plants, I imagine, being grown on. That's probably the smallest plant you'll find here by an absolute mile. Look at this big clump of musa basjoo. You put that into your garden and you get such an amazing display this year. That is something special. And they deliver nationwide. This isn't a local thing. This isn't you know, the northwest of England only. They deliver plants all over the country. So again, lots of formal, symmetrical looking plants, and that kind of is the Italian way. So lots of Italian style plants here. Look at that. A cube in the sky. Absolutely incredible. The impact of that. Absolutely brilliant. Lots of acers. And this one again is so tactile. And it's really soft as well to touch. That is absolutely fantastic. And if I can see what that is, unfortunately it doesn't have a label, but that is something else, that. And they've got all different types of acers as well. And if you're after something specific, then they can get it for you as well. They've got very close relationships with a lot of the growers in Italy. Let's head back up through here. It's a lovely day today. It's actually the hottest day of the year so far. I'm here in the evening. I actually couldn't think of a better way of spending an evening. Look at all these. And all of these plants are cared for and installed by 3 people, and one of them's part-time. So an absolutely amazing job that they're doing here. So these are small, you know, and actually they're massive. Formiums are £125, and again, that's such an instant impact, isn't it, to create a low hedge in effect. It's a lovely variegated form as well. That these are some of the empty pots, a bit bigger than what I've got at home. Loads more cordylines here. And apparently they have some really even bigger cordylines. Lovely colour on this. Probably not coming out very well on camera. And then we've got some tall waggies here. So these are, oh, let's have a look, see if it says. It doesn't say. They're £625. They're coming into flower. But they are, I mean, at least 9 foot, I'd say, in the pot there. It's probably 1.5 foot of pot itself. And a bit of, they're all similar, but a bit of difference in the size of each one as well. All looking pristine. Absolutely lovely. They've got some more fortunei here. Look at this one in flower. That is brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic to see. Now this, you can have this. It's only £625. I say only. But that is probably 7 foot of trunk. Again, lots to choose from. They've got some chamaerops, humilis, vulcanos. Almost didn't see them because they're only about 4 foot tall. Too busy looking up. And well, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get to that price. £185. These lovely, absolutely stunning chamaerops, humilis, vulcano, the dwarf chamaerops. No spotting on those whatsoever. So again, everything's being looked after very well here. This is just a fantastic place to be. And if you've got a bit of money to spend, then wherever you are in the country, it would be worth a trip up. Look at these. Each of these panels, it's on a metal cage, £395. Now, having had a good chat with Dan, who works here, and thank you very much, Dan, for showing me around and taking the time to explain to me how the business is run. It's really encouraging to hear that this is a business where profits don't come first. The owners enjoy running a nursery. They like speaking to people about plants. And, you know, if it ticks over and makes a small profit and keeps going, then they're happy with that. How about these olives? Now, they don't look fantastic at the minute because they've been in the pots for a couple of years. However, once planted in the ground, they'll very soon return to normal. And how about this one? This one is 175 years old, and that is probably the gnarliest trunk I have ever seen. And that makeshift pot that it's in is probably over 2 meters wide and 70 centimeters deep. That is incredible. Now, if you want this, bear in mind it's 175 years old. It's £3,000. That's actually not too bad, I don't think. Now, I've still got some footage to come up, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank Dan again and everyone at the Bigger Plant Company. They didn't have to, but they insisted on giving me some or 2 plants to take away, and I very happily obliged. I've got a lovely banana here and an agave as well, one of those pups, quite an advanced pup actually. It's a plant in its own right, that. And the banana is in this massive pot. The pot itself must be worth a few quid. It's filled, the soil inside it as well, worth a few more. And the plant itself looks fantastic. So I'm actually going to plant this banana in one of my borders, which I'll show on an upcoming video. But back to the footage, and just thanks again to Dan and everyone at the Bigger Plant Company. You really didn't have to, but much appreciated. There's loads of stuff hidden away in all sorts of nooks and crannies. I basically did 2 or 3 laps of this place and only finally saw these beautiful green called Formiums. If you'd like to get in touch with the Bigger Plant Company, then I'll link to their website below. So I hope you've enjoyed this little tour around the Bigger Plant Company in the Wirral. And I've certainly enjoyed walking around myself. And we're just going to finish with one last shot, walking through all these beautiful tree ferns. Thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are.